Hello artists, we are back and today we're going to be using our print and creating some new connections between these shapes that we've made, and also maybe making some creatures or some structures out of what we've got. So what I'd like you to do first is to get some markers or colored pencils. You can also use crayons if that's what you have, and we'll get started. I am going to let my daughter Greta show you what we're doing with this. So what you're going to do is get some markers, crayons, or colored pencils, and you're just going to start to make some new shapes and lines around and in between the shapes that you printed. Good job, honey. The other thing you can do is you can use the markers or colored pencils or crayons to color some places in. So like we had these circles in between all of these shapes, so we're going to go ahead and color all of those in just for fun, just to see how that looks with color. So you may or may not have little shapes in between your other shapes, or you might have some areas like this that you could color in too. We're going to go ahead and do that as well. And then the other thing that I want you to do before you do anything else with this is to do outlines around some of these shapes. So find some colors, that are going to contrast with it. So we're going to use this blue and put the blue around the things that are yellow, like this, and this shape and this shape. We're going to go do an outline around those. And we'll try some other colors around some of the other shapes. You can choose any color you want to for this part. You're basically just going to take that marker, crayon, or colored pencil and kind of outline your shapes like this. Okay, and like I'm doing here, you can just keep using the same color until you've got all the things outlined that you're happy with. So, and it doesn't always have to be the same. So I'm going to go ahead and do this shape in blue, right? And just keep going with that until you've got a nice composition and you're happy with everything outlined. I'm going to show you what we are doing in a second. So now you can see I've done some of my shapes outlined, some of them I didn't outline. That's fine. You can do it with some of them outlined and some of them not outlined. It's totally your design. And the next thing I'm going to do is start to connect some things to make something new. So for this part, you're going to need to look carefully at your picture and see if you see anything that kind of suggests something else. Like maybe if you look at it closely, you can see like this could be a creature right here. I think this could be the head and the body and legs. So I'm going to start to connect these things to make them into, for me, I'm going to do creatures. Now you could also make these into things like buildings. So for example, this could be a building. Here would be the front door, so I could draw that door and some windows in it. You might also see some vehicles, like if we turn this a little bit, maybe this is a bicycle with two wheels, and this is a funny kind of bicycle seat. I don't know. So I'm going to go ahead and start with creating some creatures, because that's what I feel like I see in my picture. And you can go ahead and start doing whatever you need to with yours, and I'm going to show you mine in a second too. Okay, so I'm going to start to show you a few things that I started to see in my picture, and I'm not going to do too much more because I want you to think of some of your own ideas. But here I felt like these were the eyes of an owl and his nose, so I'm giving him a little feather, some feathers underneath those eyeballs there. And then over here I saw another bird, and so I outlined the shape of that bird that I saw. It's including some interesting colors, so I think it's a very exotic bird, and I gave it these two eyes. And then over here, let's see, I found this little froggy guy, so I just outlined him, colored him in a little bit with green. I've got a fish here, but if you turn it sideways, I also have this big elephant. So I've got some really neat creatures kind of starting here. Like I said before, you might find creatures in yours too, or you might find some buildings or motorcycles or anything like that. So I would love to see what you come up with. Now for me, I'm going to keep coloring in some of these inside shapes because I feel like if I do that, I may find some other creatures in my image here. And I am excited to see what you turn up with, what you find in yours. So please make sure that you send these to me when you're finished, and I will look forward to writing back and putting it onto our shared folder for Seesaw. Okay, everybody, hope you enjoyed this one, and we will talk to you soon. Bye-bye.